Welcome to series of discussion session parallel to Industrial Exhibition 2023. Today we are selected the topic is leather products in this industry in Sri Lanka and export potential. Today we invited special person Mrs. Vajira Peiris. Welcome.
Hello.
She is the founder Peiris Leather Artisan, and she is a graduate of Leather Crafts, London College of Fashion. Vajira, first of all, I'd like to ask, how do you describe leather products and its trends in the international market right now?
That's a very good question for us to discuss right now in Sri Lanka. So, if I first describe what are the leather is, so leather is a hide or a skin that went through a tanning process, and it's used in many areas such as footwear, accessories like bags you can see here, belts, mainly for bags and accessories.
Yes.
And footwear, and there are also clothing, leather clothing, and it's spread across a wide range.
Yes.
And leather actually is a very nice material. I love it, and it's actually a byproduct of the meat industry and the dairy industry, especially in Sri Lanka. We don't purposely kill any animal to get the leather. So it's all the leather in Sri Lanka is a byproduct from the meat industry.
Yes.
So when we describe leather has special qualities. It's very durable. The longevity is very high, and it has its very own characteristics. Which is beautiful and luxury. The feel is different, the smell of the leather. So these characters specify leather and differentiate from fabric. Leather, so that's about leather very briefly. Leather is a very wide subject to talk about, but briefly that is leather. And the current, actually the trends in globally and the potential is that there's a huge accessory market globally, same as apparel industry. So if you look into a retail shop is always equipped, always have accessories as well to go with the clothing. So as huge as the clothing industry, the leather is also there. So from my experience, when I go to a shop in a shop abroad like Zara or H&M, the biggest retailers in the world, they have a separate section for leather, that's footwear and accessories. So the leather actually has a huge place in the apparel industry as well. So to answer your question, the trend is actually like it goes with the apparel industry, the fashion industry. It always goes parallelly with the fashion industry. So leather actually has a very specific market. People love it because it's appeal, the luxury feel. With the time it creates a nice patina with aging. That's what people love about it. In terms of longevity, it lasts long. It lasts for generations sometimes. And in our business, sometimes we get to do repairs. So some products they inherit from their parents. So you can imagine how long it lasts. So it's a very sustainable and ethical product. So that's my brief introduction for leather, although it's a very wide subject.
Yes, actually, you have given a broad idea, small within few minutes. Then I would like to focus your mind. Do you think leather is popular? Why is so popular? And why do you think people love it?
Well, why leather is popular? Like I said, and why people love it so much. The one main reason is leather is a luxury. When you say leather, the word in any industry like interior, if you say a leather sofa is a luxury product.
Yes.
A genuine leather bag is a luxury product,
Yes.
and it has its own, like the leather has a very unique, when you use leather to create any product, it has a unique craftsmanship. Although it's mass produced or handmade, it has a very unique craftsmanship. So when a product is made out of leather, you give, like it gets a really nice quality. The leather has, like I said, leather has a really nice smell, and it's a very flexible material. It has a shear, and with the time it creates a very nice patina. So aging for other products
Yes.
is not it's not a fact to love it. Like if you have clothing, when it gets older, you need to buy a new one. But with the leather, when it gets older and age, you start to become attached to it. It becomes a sentimental product to you. And most of the time, genuine leather is a luxury product to own, and it's a statement. For most people, it's a fashion statement. The other thing is why people love it so much. The other reason is the how long it lasts. Actually, it lasts, like I said, it lasts really long time, and then the longevity and the durability. It can hold, like the strength it can hold is wider according to product. So in terms of footwear, a leather footwear lasts longer than a synthetic one.
Synthetic, yes. It will be more than 2-3 years.
Yes, you can wear more than 2-3 years. Yes. Trust me, I have a 10-year-old pair of shoes. So with the good care, you can use a pair of shoes for a long time. And also, because of its flexibility, you can mold it. That's why people love it so much. You can create, and leather has its own grain. Like I said, it comes from the dairy and the meat industry as a byproduct. But it has its own grain, and you can create lots of patterns. You can, like you can see, you can add so many colors. Leather also categorized into vegetan and chrome tan and semi-veg. And there's also recycled leather, and there's vegan leather now, plant-based leather. So people, like, now there's so many choices for people to love it, and that's why it's so popular. There are so many categories for leather. If you love vegetan, you can get vegetan, so that's a very natural process. And if you like more colors and different patterns, then you can go for chrome tan, and there's also semi-veg in between that. And if you don't like animal skin, then you have the option of vegan leather and plant-based leather, and there's also recycled leather now. So the industry is so wide, there's so many choices to make. That's another reason why people love it so much. For me, it's the touch and the feel and the craftsmanship. That's why I love it. Like when I get a skin, I know how to create something. And these items, most items made out of leather, are very personal and customized. The bag is something you need every day. The shoe is the essential. You have to wear it every day, and it has to feel comfortable. So the leather can provide you this comfort. And especially in Sri Lanka, we have a really good footwear industry, and it's most of it made out of genuine leather, we know, and we have very good crafters in Sri Lanka who create very comfortable shoes. From their technology manufacturing process, they create beautiful shoes. So it's about appearance as well. When you dress up and style,
even they are making leather jewelry also.
Yes,
it's very important.
Yes, so it's spread across a wide range. Bracelets, belts, and now the
not
earrings
only bags
are available.
And shoes and belts,
no,
not only.
It's not
big, huge range of the products.
Huge range, and we know historical. It has a history and a culture. So every country has its own history and culture related to leather, and we do as well. So we know from royal families how we used leather. There's a museum in Galle where you can find out how we used leather to make shoes. using a very basic technique. So we have this connection with the culture and history with the leather. So I think there are many more reasons why.
And also military people use the special.
Yes, so it's the safety.
Instruments. Yes, safety instruments.
Safety, and we call it the user friendliness.
Yes.
With the leather. So for military, and there's bulletproof leather.
Yes, bulletproof. Yes.
So like you can apply a layer, and we produce some military gloves that's used for rope
and also safety
climbing and
instruments.
Safety instruments, and used for snipers and shooting. So the leather, the flexibility leather has actually can be used in many
Not
functions.
Only, even we are using leather balls, crickets,
yes.
and other
the gloves for the leather ball, and even the ball is actually made
yes,
out of very thick hide. So it's actually although we didn't notice, it's everywhere. Your shoe, your watch strap, your belt, your hat, the slippers, everything, like most of what you wear is made out of leather. So how can people not love it?
Yes, sure. Definitely, yes. Then you are the leather products manufacturer, one of the best leather goods manufacturer in Sri Lanka, as according to my knowledge. Could you please tell me what are the manufacturing process from leather selection to up to leather finished good? What's
Yes.
the process, and how to select your leather from selection?
It's a very long and very interesting process for me. That's part of what I enjoy. So leather we buy, but leather is also in a tanning process, separately made before it comes to us. So if I explain you from tanning process, first like it's went through the process of chemical process, or natural process, and then it's been stretched and split, and when it goes through a huge process,
chemical and physical process.
After
processing leather finished leather comes
before it comes to us. And then when we get the leather, what we do is in our business, as we at Peiris Leather Artisans, what we do is we do a small research, and before we start our production, that's according to colors, we search about available leather, we talk to industry and check with them what are the availability. So we do a little market research as well, what's in the trend, what people love to wear this year or next year, and what's going to be more useful. Also some innovations as well. So we do a little small quick research before we go to production, and then we do quick sketches, and then we do a tech pack to know exactly what we are making. For example, if it's a bag, we write down dimensions and what are the trims we needed, because on the process of making you can't go to buy things. So first we create this technical package that's called a specification sheet to know exactly what leather we want, and the zipper, the detail, the trims. Luckily we have a lot of resources in Sri Lanka. There are so many manufacturers in Sri Lanka, especially like YKK zippers are one of best zippers are made in Sri Lanka. There's a factory, and we have few not few, like five to six tanneries in Sri Lanka where we can buy leather, and they are also up to trend as well. So once we know all these materials, we note it down, then we go and purchase it. So after we get everything we need to make the goods, we start making the patterns. So once the patterns are done, if we needed a bulk production, we get it. We get the punch made, the knives set up, and then we get it cut out, and IDB provides a great support service using machine services. So like if you want to get the belts cut, we always come here, cutting, splitting. So we do that, skiving as well. And then after we've done that, cutting the leather, splitting and skiving, then we put it together and stitch it. That's depending on the customer need, either hand stitched or machine stitched. If it's machine stitch, we use machinery. There are several very specific machinery for leather products. And then if it's hand stitch, we punch it using chisel set, and then using needles, we use the saddle stitching to make it. After that, like after it's all assembled, we do this polishing, conditioning,
finishing process.
Yes. So the final touch comes after stitching. That's the beauty. Like after all the hard work, this polishing and conditioning and waxing brings the whole quality out of the product. And then after that comes the packaging. So most leather bags goes in a small cloth bag to give it a value. So it does, and then we try to use more sustainable methods, reduce the polythene. And
I would like to ask the question once again. Do you think leather is a sustainable product?
Oh, following that. Yes, for me, like there's no research saying the animal skins are not sustainable.
It's a natural leather.
It's a natural leather. It's a natural product. It's so and it comes from, like I said, it comes from as a byproduct from meat industry and the dairy industry as well. So if someone's saying leather is not sustainable, it's an animal product, they have to be like, you have to think about where it comes from. We are not purposely killing any animals to get the leather. And the tanneries in Sri Lanka, most tanneries in Sri Lanka have a wastewater management system. And like you said,
definitely. We are planning to establish another one area in especially Valachina Paper Corporation premises. All the tanneries goes to that industrial park. Then we are the treatment under the Ministry of Industry. They constructed the treatment plant was also installed in there. Then all the tanneries goes to the
in one place.
Then
so it's centered.
Centralized all the tanning industry.
So it's easy to manage all the chemicals and the production, and especially the water treatment. So we are very proud to say in Sri Lanka we have a good wastewater managed system in tanneries, and we don't purposely kill any animal. And if you imagine all these leather skins in the meat industry going into landfill, creating so much pollutions and also creating disease, because it's an animal skin, and there's no way you can release this to nature without making any pollution. So in a way we are recycling that and also supporting the environment by producing leather, because we are recycling that product without sending that to waste. So if we never use this waste from the meat industry and the dairy industry, that will become a huge pollution in the country. So to answer your question, for me, genuine leather is a very sustainable product. On the other hand, these products last longer for generations sometimes. So in terms of longevity, it's environmental friendly. It's not going into landfill after a year or two. Even if it goes, it does actually, it doesn't harm as much as plastic and the polythene or the resin. And the other thing is, now the leather industry has the recycled leather and also the plant-based vegan leather. So if someone don't like the genuine leather, there's the option of plant-based leather and the vegan leather. And there's no research saying which one is more sustainable and more environmental friendly or ethical. For me, in Sri Lanka, the industry is ethical and sustainable too, because we have no child labor in Sri Lanka in the factories, and the workers are treated well in the factories where the tanneries or the goods manufactured plants, and they get a fair salary. And also the environmental authorities actually monitor the factories, and the labor department monitor monitoring. So we have this good system in Sri Lanka, not like the sad stories we hear from other Asian countries.
Yes.
We don't have those sad stories luckily in Sri Lanka, because we don't use child labor, and there's very good CSR system as well in the factories, and there's so many community development projects going, supporting system, there's good education provided in this industry. So I can say that we are not recognized well. This industry is not recognized globally well, whereas we have really good qualities. For apparel industry, they have these organizations promote the labor and all the regulations, whereas for the leather industry, because it's very small, I can't say very small, but it's smaller than the apparel industry, the recognition is bit less. And there's this cultural thing as well. Leather is an animal related product, so especially for the Asian countries, when the religion gets involved, it becomes little confused, I would say, whether to use a leather product or not. But what people need to understand is it's a byproduct of the meat industry. So in that way, it's ethical and sustainable.
Even in India is a Hindu country.
Yes.
But they don't use the meat for their foods.
For consumption.
Consumption. But most second largest exporter of the meat production, and
is
also
in India.
most popular, highest leather production manufacturing in India
is in India. Yes.
That's the thing.
So yes, so they are not purposely killing the animal to get the skin. It's the meat.
Meat, yes.
So so that's they are supplying for a need actually.
Yes.
The meat is a need actually. You can't ask the whole world to become vegetarian. That's never going to happen. And one more thing I say is that you can't be a superhero and save the whole, but you can do little things to save the world, like becoming sustainable and ethical or recycling. So in a way, as in leather industry, what we are doing is a small contribution to the pollution that happens in in another part of the country.
Yes, definitely, yes. How is the export potential for Sri Lankan leather products? Because a lot of people are trying to export, and we are even in as we are IDB, Industrial Development Board, and the Ministry of Industry, all the people are facing this some dollar problems. Then it's a good solution for the export. Now, I'm asking, how is the export potential for Sri Lanka for the leather products, related to leather products?
So we have a good potential in Sri Lanka for the leather industry. Why I'm saying that is there's a very good skilled labor force in Sri Lanka that is affordable, which was originally created for apparel industry as well. So in that way, we have a good labor force in Sri Lanka. So if anyone wants to start an export business, it's easy for us to find skilled labor in Sri Lanka. You are training so many people here, so many people learn it. And then there's we have 2 to 3 government universities who teaches designing parts, innovation, entrepreneurship, all that. So so they can cater to accessory industry in Sri Lanka. I know from Moratu University, Visual Arts, University of Visual Arts, students graduating from those universities goes to footwear industry and accessory industry as well. At the same time, they goes to apparel industry. So there's so not only labor but also these designers who can support the industry and provide good design skills, good designs and innovation. So there's that potential for an exporter. And then we can give competitive pricing.
It's very good.
Because of the I don't want to call it cheap labor. It's not cheap labor. It's affordable. It's affordable, I would like to say. You can't call labor cheap because it comes with a lot of hard work.
Hard work, yes.
So it's not cheap, it's affordable. So with this affordable labor, you can the exporters can get competitive pricing. So and exports mostly happen in bulk quantities. So when there's a bulk quantity, the prices can drop down. And since you are now starting to centralize all the tanneries in the country,
Yes.
We can easily provide ethical and sustainable practice to the industry, where you can market that really well. And there's the certification you can get, so that can support export industry. So that's a really good part. And then design and innovation, like I said, there's a hub here.
Yes.
You train and introduce all the machinery, and there's universities, and there's small courses, like short courses.
Even Sri Lankan people are very creative people, creative minded and creative.
Very hardworking people.
Hardworking, yes.
You
it's
can,
very
we are very hardworking and very enthusiastic and really friendly, actually. So for export like potentials, the labor is there, and access to raw material is the other thing, because we have tanneries here, and there's a good import solutions here for anyone to import leather as well. And you
government
give good
already have given
leather
leather import some release
materials.
some taxes, materials.
So there's a release of taxes for to support industry. And there's GSP plus trade agreement, where you can get reduced tariffs or no tariffs to certain countries. So the export potential for leather industry is there. We just have to rebuild slowly with the issues we had.
Sure. Yes, this is a very good. There are a lot of opportunities to invest or introduce this industry. What do you advise for new investors or who want to start the new industry in Sri Lanka? Do you think we have any opportunities?
Yes, so here's a good example.
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
I'm a good example.
That's why
so not very long ago I started. I started in 2018 when I moved back to Sri Lanka from London. So for startups, I would say we are starting to create this small community now, community of leather crafters.
You'd like to know about how did you start your business?
How I started with 5 products.
Okay.
It's very small, 5 products, 1 card holder, key tag and a purse, cable organizer, and a spectacle case. So that's all like I made first. And then
now you expand up to this.
Yeah, so it's expanded to this much, like even more. This is only how much I could bring today. So these 5 products I made, and then I first started in 2016 actually, and I've been teaching mostly. I didn't think about moving into production, and then in my case, from UK, I thought Sri Lanka is a place. Like I was born here, and I know the country and the industry. So like I said earlier, this is the best place for me to set up a business, because in UK my labor was so expensive, and the access to like material was more expensive than here. So I decided, so if I wanted to start up with less investment, much more lower investment than there are, I have to move back to Sri Lanka. So I moved back here, and then I set it up. So for any investors, I would say start with whatever you have, and it will grow up slowly. And the other thing, the advice I can give is be very patient with your business growth. The whole, like globally we are facing the global issues are there anyway, inflation and all that, the material shortage and all that. So it will eventually slowly grow. So with if we start smaller and slow, This is why I love about leather industry. It's not fast fashion, it's slow fashion. That's why I call it again sustainable, because it's slow fashion. It takes time. So create a small collection, put it out on social media. It's more available now than before. Use AI technology to check the productivity, efficiency, all that. So that's there now. It wasn't there when we started. So there's, because AI can provide so many solutions.
Okay. Within few years, you have gone a huge.
Yes.
You started from the 5 products. Now
to expand into more than 20 customers now.
And sometimes maybe you customize the products.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes it's bulk production, sometimes it's customized small product. It could be just a key tag sometime for a customer, but we still cater to that, because that's where we started. So you have to meet the customer need, and then providing the guarantee to customer how good your products are is one more thing, because we give after service to customer and we give 2-year warranty, because we can assure this product it lasts longer than 2 years, but we assure no repairs would come for 2 years, unless, like, you have to use it with care. Like a bag can hold up to maximum 1 kilo, but if you put more than 1 kilo, it will break. So if you maintain it and use it properly, it lasts longer. So for startups, my advice is start slow, start smaller.
Start at least with key tag.
Yeah, start at least with the key tag. And you can use, here's another good thing about, because we have a good leather industry in Sri Lanka, there's so much wastage. So what I did first was using the wastage to create smaller goods. So if somebody wants to start up a new business, rather than buying large skins, they can use the waste in the industry, use the offcuts, and then create a collection and put it out there, and then provide a good customer service, one-to-one customer service, good care to your customer, and a good product. And even if it's handmade or machine made, just be honest, keep the transparency. And you have to also provide customer information about where the leather comes from, because people like to know where things come from now. It's not hidden anymore. Everyone share information about products now. So that's one more advice I can give. And the other thing is, like, if anyone have issues finding investment, if you're doing, like, find another job, do this as a hobby, and that becomes a job. That becomes a business one day. So, and also you provide training here, so this is a good place to start. IDB is a very good place to start actually for a new startup. But then for, like you ask, for the investors, if there are any investors, the best thing is to do is collaboration rather than setting up a new business. The best thing is to collaborate, like I do now. I do few collaborations with few global brands. So what I do is, I don't design here, I get the tech back and I do the production, and my customers do the designing and development part in their country. And we do a vegan project as well with a brand called Alif. So what we do is, the customer, with the collaboration, the customer provide us all the material and we do the production. So this way, I'm having sometimes difficulty getting imports due to financial issues. So this collaboration works really well, because she can provide me the material and I will do the production. So you have to be open-minded and very flexible with your customers. So this is another good way for any investor who wants to set up a business here. And there's another project I do, a glove manufacturing. This is pretty much same with another investor. She wanted to set up a factory here, but it takes long.
Safety glove or?
These are fashion gloves.
Fashion glove, yeah.
So these are fashion gloves,
which
works really well. There's safety gloves for the military in Sri Lanka we produce, and there's fashion gloves. So rather than her setting up a factory here, She worked collaboratively with me on production. So if we have any investors abroad, what I would say is we have a good manufacturing industry here where they can collaborate, and if it grows they can then set up a new factory. There's no restriction of setting up a factory here, but what I'm saying is it's a good chance to try out
Yes.
and see how we can do, and what we can do actually.
Then finally I would like to focus your mind. What are the future prospects and potential innovations in the leather industry?
That's a very wide area, but to shorten it actually, we always come back to sustainability because that's a very important topic. So
Yes.
to answer your question, the future prospects and the potentials, potential innovations in the industry is the first thing is sustainable alternatives. Not as in sustainable alternatives for genuine leather, but sustainable alternatives for the production or any harmful, environmentally harmful production methods, or anything that you think need to change to support the nature or the environment or even the humanity. So finding sustainable solution is a key. So in Sri Lanka we have so many social entrepreneurship projects going now. So that's one way of supporting communities because humanity is more important for us. So that's one thing. And the second thing is research and innovation. So that has to be there. That's the future potential actually. And clean and efficient production processes, because we have to be very careful on releasing anything that we use in the industry. So luckily we do use wastewater management system in Sri Lanka, that we are not releasing it to rivers like other countries, and you are supporting really well as Ministry of Industries to support these tanneries. So although it's a long process, it eventually will get there and we will be able to stabilize that. And smart and connected products is one more thing to stay in the trend actually, because the world is growing with technology so much. In our production as well, we do a small project involved with RFID. So to stay up to date, you have to follow these trends and stay connected. So like go ahead with the technology. So like RFID, AI technology, stay up to date with these, and then staying always open in social media is one more thing. And then customization and personalizing becomes a key now, because people, like after COVID, people want to get more, people got into craft more, and it started become very personalized. So like I said, advanced technology, being transparent is one more thing. How we do things and who's involved in the production, and like I said earlier, collaboration, staying ethical, following ethical practices. All these facts actually support to be up to date.
Okay. Then I think this is very good, very important topics which we discussed today. Then leather products in Sri Lanka and export potential. We would like to invite those who are willing to invest or willing to start this type of leather good in industry, or as you mentioned, you start as a small product, as a hobby, as your hobby.
Yeah.
It's very good.
And that became a business.
Then today, thank you very much, Vajira Peiris. Then you have given your excellent experience and good knowledge to our audience. Thank you very much once again. You join us with our discussion.
I would also like to thank IDB and Ministry of Industries for providing us a chance to go global and also bring more business to the country, whereas we are now in a very big crisis. So like we are slowly picking up. So it's really good that IDB is providing support, providing machinery services and all that consultancy, and also doing these discussions to go to wider audience. So thank you very much, Mr. Munisinghe as well, and the team.
Thank you.